side of the stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Porky. And next up is going to be our original baby Shamu. She was born right here in this pool in 1988. Everyone, give it up in the center of the pool. Let's welcome Orcas.
Wow, so you can see how different each whale is. But did you know that there are even bigger differences in the wild? And would you be surprised if I told you that there are actually different kinds of killer whales? Yeah, scientists refer to them as ecotypes. They live in different habitats, they have different body types, and they even pursue different types of food. And although killer whale ecotypes are different, they're all still considered members of one single species, Orcas orca. Well, one of those questions we get asked all the time is how big does a killer whale grow to be? That depends on which ecotype you're talking about. Is this killer whale a 16-foot female from Iceland, or maybe a 30-foot male from Antarctica? Let's take a closer look.
The remarkable thing about killer whales, no matter which type, is that they are found throughout our global ocean, from the Arctic to the Antarctic, and literally everywhere in between. They are found in so many different habitats and depend on such a variety of marine life for survival that killer whales are more intertwined with the fate of our ocean than any other marine animal. Truly, these awesome animals are the living symbol of our ocean, representing so much more than their own species.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's hear it for our killer whales. Okay, our trainers are so passionate about what they do here every single day. In fact, that makes me think of another one of your great questions. Do the trainers talk to the whales?
That is a great question. We might not talk to our whales like you and I talk to each other, but we have taught them different signals which allow us to communicate with them. This ongoing communication is such an important part of building those strong relationships we have with our whales, and it's also because of this connection that we can answer important questions through research.
Here at SeaWorld, we have a unique opportunity to conduct research about killer whales, asking important questions that can only be answered in a setting like this. So much of what we learn here is being used to help killer whales in the wild. Of course, there are other questions that can only be explored by studying whales in the ocean. By exploring questions both at SeaWorld and in the wild, our combined research gives all of us a better understanding of killer whales and the places they live.
And that's what I call working together. Research flowing in both directions, from our park to the wild and back again. That way, everyone benefits. Okay, let's answer another question. Perfect. This individual wonders why whales jump. Well, I just have to have that emoji. Look. You know, killer whales communicate in a lot of different ways. Sometimes they vocalize, and sometimes they use their bodies. And a jump like that, and that, it's called a breach. And they're making a sound on top of the water. And when a whale uses their bodies to slap the surface, it really creates a commotion, both above and below the surface. And while this could be just to show their excitement, or maybe display a little power, or just get the attention of the other whales. And here at SeaWorld, we're so lucky because we're able to watch newborn calves rely on their mothers for everything, from the very first moment of birth.
As a calf grows and gains some independence, it is looked after by other whales in the pod too. They help the mother protect the calf, teach it survival skills, and show the calf how to romp and play. Killer whales live in family-like groups known as pods. Like human families, their pods can range in size, from just a handful of whales up to a few dozen. Recently, SeaWorld worked with researchers from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, to help them develop a model for identifying when a killer whale is pregnant by looking at aerial images of the animal in the wild. Prior to this cooperative effort, where SeaWorld provided direct, unparalleled access to our pregnant whales, researchers had no solid way of knowing whether or not a female in the wild was carrying a calf.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a lot of questions. But believe it or not, we get them here every single day.
We sure do.
And let's see if we can get our favorite.
Yeah, there it is. Every kind of killer whale, each different pod has its own unique set of calls, its own dialect. But don't forget, they use body language too.
Yeah, sometimes they blow bubbles or bump into each other or even scratch each other with their teeth, causing something called rake marks. And those are the multi-line marks that you might see on the skin of killer whales and dolphins. And it's just one of the ways they display dominance over each other during social interaction, both in the wild and here at SeaWorld. So we've just learned that killer whales vocalize and use body language to communicate with each other. Did you guys know how we communicate with them? We use signals.
This is my favorite part of the show. Down here at the glass on our left and right side, we have some very special guests. Here on my left side is Tyler, and here on my right side is Natalie. Now, Natalie and Tyler have learned some of the hand signals from our trainers that we give to the whales. So let's go ahead and watch and see what Natalie and Tyler are going to ask the whales for. Looks like Natalie's getting some pretty chilly seawater. And Tyler's getting a nice big fluke wave. Let's see what's next. Let's see what, oh, now it's Tyler's turn to get some water. And Natalie's getting a nice hula dance from Orcas. Great job, you guys.
Maybe we have some future animal trainers on our hands here, huh? You guys think they did a good job?
Woo-hoo.
Awesome. Okay, here's
behaviors you're about to see are called husbandry behaviors, and they're behaviors that allow us to take care of the whales. Now what you're seeing here, offer Bronwyn her tail flukes, and when she offers Bronwyn her flukes, this is when veterinarians can come and draw blood from our whales and use that to check their health. The next behavior you'll see, this is called a slide out behavior. Demonstrate that for us. This is a behavior that allows us to weigh the whales. Now we keep track of the weight of our whales just to make sure that they're healthy and also to make sure that our growing calves are healthy as well. The high energy behaviors you saw earlier on and to demonstrate here, these are behaviors that killer whales do in the wild and here at SeaWorld. Now let's watch. She'll do a small jump in the right hand corner. And then once again, focus your attention to the center of the pool. Here she comes. These high energy behaviors allow the whales to get all the exercise they need every day.
And I know that our guests probably also always wonder, well, how much does a killer whale need to eat every day to stay healthy?
Well, Porky, for example, who's our largest female, she's about 20 feet long and weighs around 8,000 pounds. She'll eat about 175 pounds of fish every single day. Now, it's important to note that all of our whales receive all their food every day, regardless of how they spend their day. You know, food, exercise, and physicals from our veterinarians aren't all our killer whales need. If you direct your attention towards the big screens, you'll see our whales playing with kelp, natural kelp. That's one of their favorite toys that they like. And also various other toys like big plastic balls and things of that nature. They not only like playing with their toys, or their EEDs, as we call them, environmental enrichment devices, but they also seem to really enjoy playing with each other with their toys. They're very cooperative animals. And in addition to their toys, they also really seem to enjoy their trainers. And over here to my right, Bronwyn's playing a little game with Orchid. You know, despite all the toys and games we provide, it still seems like the best enrichment comes from interaction time with each other and with our experienced team of trainers.
Okay, up next, here's a question for all you kids out there, because I know you want to know. Who would win if a killer whale squared off with a great white shark? So let's take a poll. Raise your hand if you think that the great white shark would win. Okay, I see a couple hands. Okay, now raise your hands if you think the killer whales would win. Yeah, that's right, the killer whales. You see, a great white shark hunts alone, but a killer whale hunts with a whole pod, so it's not even a competition. Now, killer whales have even been known to hunt a blue whale. You guys know how big a blue whale is? Well, at over 80 feet, it's the largest animal ever to have existed on our planet. The killer whales can hunt these huge animals because they coordinate, they collaborate, and they cooperate. They work together as a group to overcome challenges much bigger than themselves. You know, I think that we can learn a lot from killer whales on how to overcome challenges that save our ocean faces. Maybe if we work together, we can change the fate of the ocean. Maybe one day, even the world. Okay, so here's some of those other questions, those common ones that always come in. So here we go. First question. Why do some dorsal fins curve? That's a great question. Well, dorsal fins lack any sort of skeletal support, such as bones or cartilage to support their height and weight. They're completely made up of something called connective tissue. So if an animal spends more time at the surface, over time, the tissue inside that fin might weaken and the fin could bend. Now, occasionally we see these curved dorsal fins out in the wild, like you see here in the photos, and here at SeaWorld. Okay, next question. How fast can they swim? Well, depending on their size and weight, killer whales can reach speeds of almost 30 miles an hour. You guys want to check it out? Sure. All right. Very impressive. Okay, next question. How much water can their tails splash? Well, their tails, or flukes as they're called, are really strong and can fling a whole lot of water about halfway at these stands. So, last question. If all of the whales splashed at once, could they get the whole audience wet? Maybe not the whole audience,